shit. We're live with another episode of BS Busters. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined by the usual suspects. Sir, go ahead, introduce yourself.
It's Kanoshi Abominito. Glad to be here on another one of these BS Busters.
Glad to have you. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Let's get it started. Before we go any further, what you been playing, man?
Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty good. I got it. I splurged on the ultra premium version with the little extra little content and stuff. I was like, oh, this seems really cool. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna definitely play that game. My only issue
Just,
is that why haven't we gotten a good Sun Wukong Monkey King game for a long time? Because
I
this
have
is
no
closer to the
idea.
original mythology. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we haven't had a Monkey King video game since Monkey Magic on the PlayStation.
Yeah, actually, this game has actually inspired me to try reading Journey to the West again. I started reading that again because just to see what they were, see where the inspiration came from. Obviously, this game takes a lot of creative liberties, but
Yeah,
you
you got to
know,
find a good what's it called? You got to find a good translation.
translation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I like how it's written. I like how it's broken up. I like the poetry that's used to describe or add uh, use when it's describe when the author is describing something specific, whether it's a particular action scene or uh, particular details in the land. I don't know. Just it just feels a lot. I just like the transitions between that.
Oh
So
yeah.
um, I've also been liking the game. Obviously, it takes a lot of inspiration from Souls games, but it takes some of the BS that I hate about Souls games uh,
What the
out of it.
unfair
So
bullshit?
yeah, like you get to for the really the only thing you lose when you die is just progress. Like you get to keep your experience, you get to keep the currency that you have, and I would enjoy those games a lot more if we're
They didn't punish you for
able to do
death.
that. Yeah, if they didn't punish you so hard for death.
Yeah, they love doing that. They love doing that. I mean, like, here's the thing. I think if you're playing a Souls like game, you need to balance being punished for dying and also just learning how to play the damn game. The problem with a
Yeah,
lot of those games is
Activated.
they just make it hard to get into the damn game, you know?
yeah,
And I don't know
yeah,
why anyone would do that. Like, why do you want to make things hard? Like, who does that?
yeah,
You know, it's like when people say, "Oh man, I want my kid to learn, so I'm gonna toughen them up," and it's like, and so they beat the shit out of their kid, and then wonder why their kids don't like them.
yeah.
It's like, well, cause you're an asshole, Gene. It's like, cause you're an asshole, Gene. That's why your kids don't like you. But anyway, um, yeah. So you know, you shouldn't make things unduly difficult, is what I'm saying. And that's where a lot of people mess up. Is that they want to make things as hard as humanly possible, and I'm like, that's not good gaming.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I
anyway,
hate that too.
it's like I remember playing the Surge, and the Surge did the same thing. where you would have these unfair fights where you're sitting there and some dude jumps out of the corner and attacks you. I'm like, man, this is some bullshit from behind some boxes. I'm like, this is just wrong. Like, just like I don't mind bosses being difficult. I don't mind having enemy fights being more strategic. But don't fucking just have somebody jump from out of a pile of trash and hit me. Like, oh, it's a fight
Yeah,
now. I'm like, man, that's just cheap. You know. But yeah, I've been watching Black Myth Wukong since I saw the reveal like last year of like the opening, or the year before, I forget. Yeah, I think it was last year, where the developer was like, or no, it was the year before, where the developer was like, yeah, this is just something I was working on as a university student. Just nothing going on. And I'm like, wow, this is like more akin to the original Journey to the West with Sun Wukong and all the other shit. I'm like, wow. Now if they put this motherfucker in Smash Brothers, I'd be cool with it. Like the original Monkey King. Um. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Booting it up and playing it. Now, what I've been playing is Steam World Heist 2. I like the first
okay.
Steam World Heist. Been playing Steam World Heist 2. And I don't like Steam World Heist 2 quite as much as I like the first Steam World Heist. I think that they added some new gameplay systems that don't come together quite as well as the previous title, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. If the first Steam World Heist is a like 93% game, this is like an 88. You know, so an A minus, solid, like lower end A to a high B.
Damn it. Sorry. Yeah.
That's not a bad score.
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, so I guess, do you want to do the topics you were going to do last night first, or do you want to do my topics first? What do you want to do?
Well, the only topic I really have that's different from yours is it is Final Fantasy 16 was announced, pretty much it's been announced for PC. So,
I mean, there's no surprise there.
that's not a surprise. I don't think I'm probably gonna get it on a deep sale. Um,
I mean, Square Enix don't put their games on sale though, so it's gonna be a while if you're trying to get it on sale. Because
yeah,
Square Enix doesn't like putting their games on sale. Like occasionally they'll put some shit on sale, but by and large they don't.
yeah,
And I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, don't say that," but come on, man. Remember they didn't put fucking Kingdom Hearts on sale forever.
yeah. That's true. I feel like that's a Japanese problem here. A lot of Japanese games in general. Like I know Nintendo gets a lot of shit for that, but
Well,
I feel
Nintendo's
like
bad about it because Nintendo used to have sales. Like they
that
had
is true.
Nintendo
They did.
Selects, where it's like, oh, these are the best selling games. It's like, oh well, cool, that's great. That means that game can be on sale, right? Nah. Like it used to be, okay, this game sold over 1 million copies, so it's a Nintendo Select game.
Yeah,
And now they don't do shit. I'm like, god damn. Like, oh, this is a sale. It's like, how much is it on sale for? Like it's like a 10% sale, which is like, if it's a $60 game, it's like 54. I'm like, that's not a sale.
yeah,
Now I know I'm spoiled because I'm a PC user, and so when PC games have sales, it's like it feels like a sale.
yeah. Yeah, I know.
And I know that feels a little
Activate. Deactivated. Activated.
I know that feels a little bad, but you know, that's just how it is as a gamer.
Activated.
You know, that's how it used to be, you know. But anyway, so yeah, I'm glad that they're finally putting some shit down so other people can play it, because you know it was getting. I mean, look, man, we all know that Final Fantasy 16 was a financial failure. Um,
Yeah, yeah, the game should have been multi-platform from the beginning.
yeah, they put it. Oh, this is going to be a PlayStation exclusive. I'm like, why? The audience for those games aren't on PlayStation anymore.
Yeah,
You know, but that's what they did. They were like, oh well, you know, we got to put this game on this console. I'm like, you do realize no one has played, like, the audience for those games don't exist on that platform anymore.
yeah,
Because Sony stopped supporting them. You know, they don't make those types of games anymore. Oh, we don't. Or really, the truth is, they just stopped supporting those types of games.
yeah,
You know, and people just need to understand that. You know, they stop supporting games like that. They stop supporting games, you know, RPGs. I mean, this is the same company that can't be bothered to do a remaster of Legend of Dragoon, a cult game that, like, fans of PlayStation love that game, and they couldn't do a remake of it. They wouldn't even
Deactivated.
they wouldn't even fucking put a port of the game on consoles. I mean, on the PlayStation. What was it? The PlayStation Mini, the PlayStation Classic.
Activated.
Remember that shit?
what game?
Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of it, never played it, but they didn't put a lot of stuff on the PlayStation Classic that people wanted.
I mean, they also use some of the shittiest emulator,
Deactivated.
like one of the shittiest emulators, like a generic off-the-shelf emulator, is what they used for that system.
Activated.
So no one here is surprised. Like, no one's like, oh no, I can't believe. Say it ain't so, Joe. Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. That's all I'm saying.
Deactivated. Activated.
And I'm not like, here's the thing, I don't normally get surprised, but this is where I'm like, oh no, no. You gotta be bullshitting me.
Yeah,
But that's the world we live in, y'all. people don't understand the PlayStation the Sony PlayStation that exists right now, this is not the same company we had back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm gonna say something that's gonna make Nintendo fans angry. The Nintendo that we have right now is not the Nintendo that existed
Deactivated.
back in the day. This is not the same company. Hey, that water any good?
What? Oh.
But yeah, it's been the same thing over and over again. And, you know, you mention this to people and they get angry. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the other topics. The other topics on this cast are I won't say it's near and dear to my heart, but I am definitely thinking about it, and I think people will enjoy these topics. So let's get to it. Um, Gamescom. Gamescom happened. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. These are the well, it's happening right now. So here are the announcements they had. We'll go through them, give our thoughts. I guess the big one is Borderlands 4. Um, it's coming out next year, allegedly. Um, and I mean, look. Here's the story. Stop me if you've heard it before. Players will assume the role of a legendary vault hunter as they blast their way through hordes of enemies in search of new treasures to loot on an all-new planet. Which seems a little bit like a step backwards from the previous game where you visited multiple planets. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, maybe that's just a teaser. Your thoughts, sir?
Sounds great.
You know,
It's just another Borderlands game. Something everybody's been asking for. I
well,
guess.
hopefully this one will be a little bit better. You know, maybe this time they'll have a better villain than the fucking uh, the fucking twins who killed their father, who turned out to be the legendary dude that they kept on talking about in the Borderlands games.
Yeah.
Like, this is just kind of patricide is not cool.
Yeah.
Lame ass villains that weren't that good.
Yeah, they were just annoying.
You know. Now, to be fair, Handsome Jack was also an annoying villain, but here's the difference. Handsome Jack was he was a terrible villain, but he was a terrible villain that was memorable. It's like, this guy's a terrible villain. Yes. That's the point of Handsome Jack. He was supposed to be a terrible villain. A villain that you would just hate.
Yeah.
You know, you get in order for a bad villain to work, you need the villain to be like, I hate this character. It doesn't work. Having a character you hate doesn't work if if the villain doesn't have some type of motivation that makes him interesting. And that was not the case with this character. And that's what kind of made the character kind of uninteresting, in my humble opinion. But you know, to each his own. You know what I'm saying? Um, anyway, with that being said, so hopefully this time maybe they'll be able to make some better enemy choices. And maybe speaking of using vehicles, maybe this time if they have bandits flying vehicles, you'll be able to get a flying vehicle too. Because there's been 3 fucking games and you still can't do that in the
Yeah.
Borderlands series.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
What's up with that? Like, why would you have flying vehicle villains like bandits? Bandits, psychos have fucking hovercrafts, and you're stuck in a fucking dune buggy. That's stupid. And maybe the AI will get a little bit better. Where if you're playing a class that uses sniper rifles and is kind of an assassin, if I snipe an enemy in the head from halfway across a map, enemies in that area shouldn't beeline to directly where I am. They should be wandering around in panic, wondering who the fuck shot them.
Yeah.
Just a minor thing.
I mean, the technology's always been there. It's just, you know.
I mean, because they were doing that in other games, and yet Borderlands, like if you were playing in the first Borderlands, if you were playing as the hunter, in the second Borderlands, if you were playing as the assassin, in the third Borderlands, if you were playing as the assassin, but it was like, okay, so let me get this straight. I've cleared out the enemies at where I am. I'm using a sniper rifle to zoom in on an enemy. I shot him in the head. Killed him.
Yeah.
The dudes find me. That is weird.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Mafia, the Old Country. So, developer Hangar 13 is returning to the Mafia franchise in 2025. The studio and publisher 2K Games revealed Mafia: The Old Country, a new series that will send the series back to Italy. You mean Sicily, right? Mafia: The Old Country promises to uncover the origins of organized crime with a gritty mob story set in the brutal underworld of 1900s Sicily. Okay, I knew. I was like, okay, Sicily, right? Yeah. Hangar 13 promises the authentic realism and rich storytelling the Mafia series is known for. Details are scant, but expect more in December. The game's makers say probably at the Game Awards, if we're guessing. Thoughts? Thoughts, sir?
I've never really been in the Mafia franchise.
All right. Well, I have been. I liked the series. I thought it was pretty cool. Um, well, actually, no. I liked Mafia 3, the one that was set in America with Lincoln Clay, the half black, half white Korean war vet. Sorry, Vietnam war vet who came back and basically he does this heist where they take the old money and burn it, there's this heist where he's one of the heistmen on a thing where they steal the money that they take to burn the old money to keep it out of circulation, and they steal it, and then he winds up getting double crossed, shot in the head, left for dead, and they kill his adopted father and his friend, like basically it goes sideways because he's double crossed. Unfortunately for the villains, he doesn't die. So now you have a pissed off Vietnam War vet who was basically the equivalent of special forces doing lots of terrible shit in Vietnam, who you double crossed, shot in the head, but he didn't die.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the type of mayhem you get up to in 1960s, like 1968, 69, Louisiana, which is where it takes place. So basically what I'm saying is it's a fun game if you like killing racist KKK affiliated white people. And throwing guards' bodies into the swamp so the alligators eat their asses.
Activated.
Anyway, yeah, great game.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like it because it had a lot of busy work in it, but I mean, if you play any type of sandbox style game, you're gonna have busy work. That's just, that's the price of doing business. There will be busy work. The secret is the busy work has to be good enough that you don't mind, It has to be commiserate. It has to be worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some games, busy work is trash.
Yeah.
Case in point, I've played busy work that was just terrible in some games. For example, I thought the busy work in GTA 5 was trash. I thought it was not very good. Whereas the busy work in, say, a San Andreas is like, wow, like, here's how you know you have a good open world sandbox style game. If I can get into my car and just drive around and listen to the radio, and the music is so good that I forget that for a second that I have to go do something, I'm just listening to the radio, you've succeeded in creating a world that you can get lost in. There's very few games that can do that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've played some games that can't. Like, I know there are a lot of people like Breath of the Wild. I found Breath of the Wild to be boring as fuck. And Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, oh god, this is it?
I found Tears of the Kingdom to be super kind of tedious.
Yeah.
Because of the building mechanics.
I found both games to be kind of boring. I'm like, that's it? That's all you got? You got nothing else going on, just this?
Well, for me, with Breath of the Wild, sometimes simple is better.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to overcomplicate things or over-intricate things. Like,
make it too intricate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I found those games to be kind of boring. I know a lot of people liked them, but I was like, I don't. Also, why am I spending all my time creating all this extra shit? Like, oh, well, you can create your own fun. No, bitch, I paid you $60 for this game. You make the fun. Do you not understand how this works? I give you money, you make the game. Or actually, you make the game, you get my money. You don't make a game so that I can make the game. So that you can. That doesn't work. Anyway. Enough about that. So yeah, Mafia 3. I think Mafia 3 is going to be a step backwards unless they really, really nail. They either have to have a good protagonist or a terrible antagonist that you want to see get shot in the face. Or, 2K could just splurge and just make a fucking Godfather game, which is what they want to do any goddamn way. The Rise of Vito. They could just repurpose all this shit. Just set it in New York. Okay, next game announcement. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Yay! Dr. Jones! So. Dr. Jones! Look, any game that lets me go around mowing down Nazis with a Tommy gun, I can't get mad about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if we've learned anything from American history and American video games, it's that it's really fun killing Nazis. I mean, they're the only group, they're the only social group that we, like, no one's ever going to be like, oh, no, you were too harsh on those Nazis.
Yeah.
Or at least there shouldn't be. Let me put it that there shouldn't be, but there shouldn't be. There might be, but there shouldn't be.
Deactivated.
But anyway, so yeah, and it's been a while since we've had a good Indiana Jones video game.
Yeah.
Like I think the last time we had a good Indiana Jones video game was the 16-bit. No, Indiana Jones and the Treasure of Atlantis was kind of like that.
I know there was one for the N64. I don't know if that was any good.
It was fine.
Activated.
It was fine. Like, really, like I said, the best Indiana Jones game was in my humble opinion, the best Indiana Jones game was the Indiana Jones trilogy for the Super Nintendo that was made using the same engine as the Super Star Wars games. So if you play those games, it's like, oh, this game plays familiar. Yeah, because they used the Super Star Wars engine for that game.
Yeah.
So, like, seeing Harrison Ford as Han Solo, like literally Indiana Jones has a lot of the same moves as Han Solo in Super Star Wars. It's weird. You're like, wait, I know that role. It's like, I know this role very well. And it's because they use the same engine. So, but that's my own personal opinion. Some people will disagree. And they're allowed to.
Yeah.
But yeah. I want there to be a good Indiana Jones game because I think every generation needs to have a good Indiana Jones game.
Activated. Deactivated.
Yeah.
You know, and plus, you know, I'm of that age group where I love Indiana Jones movies, and we haven't had a good one in years. So, you know, if we can't have a good Indiana Jones movie, then goddamn it, we can at least have a good Indiana Jones game. Because God knows that Dial of Destiny was a piece of dog shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. The Dial of Destiny was a piece of dog shit. Let me put it this way: if you thought Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was terrible, the last game was even worse. Like the last movie was even worse than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I don't know how you can go worse than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but they did.
Yeah.
You know, I don't normally. I'm like, how do you get worse than this? They did. They found a way. You know, it's like Indiana. It's like Jurassic Park. You know, you were so you built everything off the shoulders of giants, and you had this technology, and you were so sure that you could do it. You didn't worry about if that you could do it. That you should you have done it, and that was where you messed up. In my humble opinion, that's where I got to be like, yeah, that's why you know, same thing with Star Wars. And people like, I can't believe that happened. It's like, yeah, I can believe. Makes perfect sense why it's such trash. Because y'all never had any idea what to do. But enough about that. Next game announcement. Let me take a look right here. Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Well, they're Black Ops games.
Yeah. Like Black Ops used to be a good series, but this one takes place in Washington D.C., so I might get it just because it takes place in my stomping ground. My old stomping ground, D.C. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I gotta play it, or at least be abreast of it.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Do you care? Don't care?
I don't care.
Really? Yeah. What? Not you're not one of those people who loves Black Ops. I mean, I'm not a Call of Duty guy. I don't really give a fuck about Call of Duty, but you know,
I do like the Black Ops games. I enjoyed those for what they were, at least 1 and 2. But I haven't played 3 or 4.
I like the
5.
concept of Call of Duty. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I like the concept of Call of Duty. I don't like the execution of Call of Duty, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
said it. I like the concept of Call of Duty. I don't like Call of Duty. There. I said it. I said it. I know some people are going to get mad when they hear it, but that's how I feel. So that's my thing. I know some people really like Call of Duty. I'm not one of those people, but I will give this one a chance. I'll get it and I'll play the single player, and I'll probably enjoy it on PC. I'm not gonna play the multiplayer because I don't give a fuck about multiplayer. I'm not one of those people, oh, multiplayer, I gotta play multiplayer. I don't give a fuck about multiplayer. I've never given a fuck about multiplayer. When people tell me I want to play with my friends, I'm like, well, fuck, go do something else. Go play game night with your friends. Like an actual board game and have some social interaction. But as far as like playing games, oh yeah, I gotta play this with my friends, I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about that. Let's move on to the next one. Dying Light the Beast. I've never played Dying Light. I think I got that game for free through Amazon Prime or Epic Games or something, like the original Dying Light. And here's the description. It's a thrilling standalone zombie adventure set in a tightly crafted rural region. Players take on the role of Kyle Crane, don't know who the fuck that is, who breaks free after years of brutal experiments and seeks revenge. Dying Light the Beast is coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox platforms. No, it's not coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
Look, why even screw your mouth up to ask that question?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, the trailer looks interesting. I mean,
it's an expansion to the second game?
I guess it started as an expansion and then they made it into its own little thing. So, like, here's the thing. For years, we were upset when people would just make little expansions to their games. And then it ticked in the other direction where they would take something that should have been an expansion and try and pad it out to make it into a full game. So at least they're keeping the budget low on this and making its own thing and not just not trying to take a small game and trying to pad it out into a big one. So I'll give Techland that much credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Directive 80/20. Supermassive Games is creating Directive 80/20, which stars Lashana Lynch. She was in Captain Marvel and the Woman King, in an all-new sci-fi horror adventure. Lynch plays the role of the groundbreaking astronaut Young in what Supermassive describes as an immersive cinematic horror experience that blends intense survival gameplay with a branching narrative storyline. Yeah, no, I'm not playing this. And not because it's Lashana Lynch. It's just I don't like playing. Like, when they tell you horror, it's like survival horror adventure with branching. This is basically the full-on conclusion of the adventure games we had back in the day, and where there's like a million ways to die and only one or two right ways to get through the game. And I don't want to play games like that.
Yeah.
Your thoughts? Care, don't care?
What was the name of the game again?
80/20. Directive 80/20.
Directive 80/20. It's like an adventure game.
It's categorized as a sci-fi survival horror adventure game.
Oh, okay. It's like a light novel.
Activated.
Visual novel.
No, it's like it's like an adventure game, like The Wolf Within and Borderlands. Borderlands. It's an adventure game.
Deactivated. Activated.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I don't. I've never really been into those games.
Neither have I. That's why I was like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't play those old school adventure games back in the.
It takes a special it takes a special developer to make an adventure game that I really care about. Now, ironically, I really like the LucasArts adventure games like um Day of the Tentacle, Haunted Mansion, stuff done by Curse of Monkey Island,
Yeah.
and the bridge adventure game between those games, shit like Death Spank, Psychonauts 2, stuff like that, where it's like, this is an adventure game, but it's not as like everything's gonna kill you, and if you make one wrong decision, you all have to die type shit, which I don't like. Like, I've never liked that in adventure games, which is why I never like playing them, because it's like you would have to have a FAQ in order to know how to play that game, and this is before FAQs were a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the criticisms I've heard about a lot of the older adventure games. It's like they do not tell you what to do. You have to figure it out.
Yeah, you're gonna die a lot.
Yeah.
And then you're eventually gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take a while, and it's not gonna be fun while you figure it out. And if you're lucky, someone will know what they're doing, but probably not. So, I don't like most adventure games. Not because I'm not good at them, but because I get frustrated at dying all the fucking time. But this one might be good. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Next, Goat Simulator Remastered. Yeah, Goat Simulator. And it's basically the original game remastered with upgraded graphics and lighting, as well as many intentional features that definitely aren't bugs. Fan favorite DLC all in one package. So, I mean, that's cool. You get Goat Simulator. They say this is the 10th anniversary of Goat Simulator. I never played Goat Simulator. I remember it being a big thing on Twitch because it was one of those games. It was like the Untitled Goose Game where the goose was an asshole. Goat Simulator's like that, except you're a goat. So, Next, we have the King of Meat. I don't know what this game is, but it looks weird as fuck. It looks weird as fuck, and it's coming to Windows. It's coming to everything, including Nintendo Switch. And it's a combat game from Amazon Games Studio Glowmade, in which players fight through quote unquote ridiculous user created dungeons. And it's coming to everything: Switch, PC, PS5, Xbox, practically everything. I'm pretty sure at some point it'll probably hit phone. Thoughts? Care? Don't give a shit?
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm like, I mean, it could be good, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, frankly speaking, I'm kind of burnt out on party games. Like, you know, as I've gotten older, I find myself just wanting to play a game by myself. And if I want to play online, just play online for maybe one or two matches. I don't want this shit where I have to, like, get in on the ground floor or I can't play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, we've got Linked Banner of the Spark. Linked spelled Lynked. And apparently, it is an arcade-inspired co-op adventure that blends hack and slash combat with roguelike and town-building elements. It looks kind of like a fancier, more actiony version of what was that game done by the people who did Hades? Like, it was before Hades.
Oh.
There was Transistor, but before Transistor, they did another game. Like, their first game, where, like, the big thing was, like, you're walking around and the narrator's talking while you're doing it. It's like, the kid's going over here. Hey, he's beating up those boxes. It's like some shit like that. Here, let me look it up, because it's going to be stuck in my head until I remember what it was. Hades developer. Supergiant Games. And the game was Bastion.
Yeah.
Bastion. They did Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, Hades, and Hades 2. Yeah, it basically feels like Bastion, but a more actiony, faster combat Bastion. And that's not bad. I liked Bastion. So the fact that what it looks like, I don't know if that's what the game's going to be, but what it looks like is like a more actiony Bastion. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I liked Bastion. Bastion was a good game.
Yeah, I like it. I like how it's storytelling. I like you know, that was obviously the action was fun. You know, Bastion is one of those games. Again, like I said about Breath of the Wild earlier, where sometimes being simple and somewhat vague can pay off versus
Well, Bastion was kind of a trick, because when you first started playing it, oh, this is simple, and then by the time you get to the end of the game, you're like, oh, there's way more going on than what you originally thought, and it's actually there's a lot more shit going on than what you originally thought. So the game, like, there's more, there's subtext to everything that's going on, and if you don't play the game, you don't know what that subtext is. So it seems like, oh, this is overly simplistic, or this is too easy. It's like, no, there's more going on here.
Well, like for example, the good ending is actually the bad ending, and the bad ending is actually the good ending. If you're paying attention,
it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Like, do you end the cycle, or do you, do you end the cycle, or
give it another try?
Or give it another try.
Yeah.
And the guy who's been helping you the whole time, spoiler alert, but this game is what? The game is fucking
It came out about 2012, I would say. So it's
a 12 years old. Yeah. So if someone comes up to me and says, "Oh, you spoiled it. Fuck you. You should have played the game." Okay, spoiler alert. The guy helping you in Bastion, 2011. Game came out in 2011, so it's a 13-year-old game.
Yeah,
okay, so it's been over a decade, so fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. Bastion, the guy helping you out, the guy who's like, well, if you do this, you might be able to save your world, blah, blah, blah. Once he gets his memories back, it turns out that
Oh, and
he's one of the people who like wants to destroy the world because there was a war between two nations, and he's from the opposite nation, so he's like, you know,
once you complete that, 'cause I was never good enough to complete the record player challenge,
yeah.
or where you have to essentially where you go through a gauntlet, and you as you go through the gauntlet, you get more and more information about his backstory. There's like several gauntlets you go through that
Well, that's
gives
not
you if you
that's not how you get the good ending in Bastion. The good ending in Bastion is just you make certain player choices, and those
yeah
choices determine what it is. That's just extra bragging rights, and I think you unlock like a new costume or some shit. Um, like so, basically, if you choose to save um, Zolf, you get a certain. It branches off, and then you can choose to do one of two things. You can either reset time, rewind time to before the calamity, or you can use the Bastion to escape with the survivors and go someplace else. And that's it. So
okay
that's the thing. So either way, depending on how you look at it, either ending could be good. But it's hinted
yeah
that restoring the world doesn't really prevent the calamity. But like, here's the thing: when developers do that in their games, I think you have they're playing they're basically placating to narrative cowardice because they don't want to make a definitive way. Because the point about a game is that there's a good ending and there's a bad ending. Because they did the same thing with fucking Mass Effect. Like the original ending of Mass Effect 3 was like, oh well, the good ending is you merging with the synthetics, and the bad ending is you destroying the Mass Effect relays. But I'm like, the reason all this keeps on happening is because we're using technology that we don't know how to replicate, and it's not our own,
yeah
which is the Mass Effect relay. So actually, the bad ending, the quote unquote bad ending, destroying the Mass Effect relays, is actually the good ending because it forces the species of the Milky Way to actually come up with their own faster than light travel and not relying on old shit that someone else created.
yeah
You know, it's like it's better for you to know how to build a car than using an old car. Like if society fails, it's better to recreate the technology to create a car than to use some old cars that you've restored because you don't have the technology to repair those cars or fix them.
yeah
Anyway, but yeah, yeah. But Bastion was a big game. But I get what you're saying. Bastion seems like a very simplistic title at first, and then you play it and you realize, oh no, there's more. There's way more going on here. I like that Supergiant Games has always done that with their games, though.
yeah
Like, because Transistor did the same thing,
oh yeah
where you're playing Transistor, you're like, oh no, this game is about this young lady doing X, Y, or Z. It's like, no, there's more going on here. That's kind of
yeah
become their thing. There's more, like their thing has become, oh, there's more going on here
yeah
than what you initially think.
yeah
Which I like. I like games that like are like, well, there's more going on here. I actually like that. I wish
yeah
more games would do that, where it's like, oh, there's more going on here.
yeah
Because they don't like doing that these days. You know, it's like, oh, they either want to spoon feed you everything or make something so damn easy that it like difficulty becomes a joke.
yeah
And I'll be honest with you, I'd rather have a game be I would rather a game be a little difficult and force me to think than a game that's just just making it too easy. Because a lot of games do that. They make things too damn easy.
Yeah.
But that's my own
Yeah.
personal opinion. I could be wrong. I'm just some guy, remember.
Deactivated.
But whatever. Anyway, next is Lost Records Bloom and Rage. It's from the Life is Strange developers. So this is gonna be some bullshit. Cause I haven't seen or played a Life is Strange game that I was like, yeah, I should have spent money on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried playing Life is Strange, and you know, I was just like, I don't think this is my kind of game.
Yeah,
I don't think these are my kind of games.
yeah, I'm playing it. I'm like, what is this shit? Like, I'm like, people like this?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the story was sort of kind of interesting. I just wish if you're gonna make a story around time travel, time manipulation, that
You
the
do it.
gameplay would have been more interesting.
Yeah. It's like they have a good idea for a game, but the actual execution, it's like someone having a really good idea for a research paper, but then when they write it, it's like this does not flow at all.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't flow in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, yeah. So I'm not really looking forward to
Is
that
it gonna
game.
be another adventure game, or is it?
I mean, they say it's a '90s set, a narrative adventure, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. So I mean, it's what they've been doing, which I'm glad they're sticking to their wheelhouse because they know how to do that. But I'm like, God damn, God, I'm tired of these types of games. Can we focus on gameplay, please, and stop trying to tell some expansive story? Like RPGs are for an expansive story. Everything else, gameplay, gameplay. Embark
Yeah.
Studios, creator of the finals, brought its long-delayed shooter Arc Raiders to Gamescom for re-reveal. The PvPvE action survival shooter is now coming in 2025 to PS5, Windows PC, and Xbox Series X. Arc Raiders' first public tech test is now available October 24th to 27th. So there's going to be some real time, some real some it's going to be some fucking massive multiplayer online Hive Wars 2 shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Planet Divers 2 shit. Next we
Yeah.
have Infinity Nikki. It's a open world adventure game fueled by the power of dressing up. Already don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it is a game for 7, 8-year-old Japanese girls.
And well, yeah, but
they're all
here's the thing: you're gonna find a lot of neats dudes whose best friend is their right hand or left hand, depending on what their dominant hand is. And it's
man,
coming.
that girl's like
It's
that girl
coming
looks
to
like she's
mobile
12 years old,
platforms.
man.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know. Girl looks like she's 12 years old.
yeah, but the dudes who play these types of games are who are really into it, like the magic girl shit. They love this type of shit. He doesn't do shit for me, but
Nothing.
God bless him. Next, they showed a 5 minute trailer for Dune Awakening. So, welcome to Planet Arrakis. It's an MMO where you start out as a asshole who's stranded on the planet, and now you got to go around, get your little camp together, and not get eaten by a giant sandworm. So, Dune.
I mean, it sounds fantastic.
Apparently, you can also shoot people and beat the shit out of people and fight people. So it's got some first person shooter, like third person shooter over the top shit. I mean, it looks
Yeah.
interesting. It looks interesting. I wish it was a single player game. I probably would enjoy it more if it was a single player game.
Yeah, that was my only problem. It's like I gotta interact with actual people. I like.
Because this is going to devolve into. Here's what this is going to devolve into. People are going to create guilds so that they can band together and not get attacked by other people while they're mining for spice, right? Then you're going to have player killers who are going to go around murdering the shit out of people. Then you're going to have guilds who are going to band together to take on the people who band together not to have their shit raided for spice.
It's gonna be GTA, except
It's gonna be GTA 5 on. It's gonna be GTA Online. And then then you're gonna have people who just want to play just for the game, who are gonna get. They're gonna have to either create servers just for people who just want to play the game almost as a single player game with bots, and the rest of it is just gonna you're gonna split the base into two.
Yeah, just get the game on PC because I'm sure you can circumvent a lot of the stuff if you play on PC.
Maybe. Next, they have Reanimal. Apparently, there's like some giant animals doing some shit. And it's described as a co-op horror adventure game. Oh shit, another adventure game. Okay, all right. You play as a brother and sister who go through hell to rescue their missing friends. I'm sorry, man. If you're on if you're if you look, if you're my friend and you're missing some place where there are giant animals killing people, your ass just gone. I'll I'll pour one out for you on your anniversary. This is for little poo poo. He went missing on the island of giant mutant animals. Pour one out for a homie. I ain't going there looking for you. Fuck you. You shouldn't have had your ass out there in the first place. Next we have Monster Hunter Wilds. And they're adding a new area, the Scarlet Forest, a Lu monster called Lala Barina, and the Windward Plains apex predator Ray Dow. So,
Yeah.
if you really care about Monster Hunter, which I don't, here you go.
Civilization.
They announced Sid Meier's Civilization 7. You can now travel up rivers, which is cool, I guess. So, yeah. I guess they're trying to streamline the experience a little bit so that people can make it to the end of the people can make it to the end of the game instead of just getting frustrated like some people did. Or you could do what I did, which was I would do a custom map and make myself into Super America and then basically get everything, like have all the natural resources and give the other people like nothing. And yet somehow I'm like, okay, so we're gonna do the United Nations and you're gonna make me the president, right? They're like, no. I'm like, you don't have anything. I don't know how you made it up to this certain age and you have nothing. I specifically put no resources on your shitty little island, which is proof that the computer cheats in Civilization. The computer cheats.
Uh,
It cheats every
were
time.
you like were you like some sort of massive technological cybernetic age and everybody was still stuck in the Stone Age?
I mean, I would
Is
prefer
that
that than basically like, okay, like
how
you have the fog of war. I have basically created like of the 8 great wonders of the world. I've built like 7 of them. Okay, like one person beat me to it because the computer cheats. And then I'm like, okay, well, obviously, my country should be the leader of the United Nations because y'all have fuck all of nothing. All right. No. I'm like, okay, so the only other win condition is to get to space before anyone else, which obviously I would do because I had the technological advantage. So it's like, yeah, bye. We're leaving you people on Earth after I polluted it and got all the natural resources. Fuck you people.
You
Yeah,
got
yeah,
nothing.
yeah, yeah. In real life, I'm a very liberal, progressive, humanitarian, share alike. But in civilization, fuck you. I got mine. You better get yours. I'm a capitalist. I'm a selfish capitalist. Um.
uh,
Next, we have Marvel Rivals. They're NetEase kind of Overwatchy team games as Marvel Rivals, and they've added 2 new hero characters, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And I'm like, but you do know Bucky's like a hero now, right? I mean, he killed a lot of people, but he's kind of a hero, so yeah. I don't like the art style, the costume design of these characters. They look too cartoonish.
I hated it at first, but then I
The
think it's
gameplay
starting to
looks like
look
it's fun. I
better.
just don't like if they give you the option of having classic cartoon costumes for the characters, I'd be cool with it. But
Yeah, they're gonna make you pay a premium for it because it's free
man,
to play.
I would pay a premium for better costumes for Captain America and all these characters because this looks like some Fortnite Overwatch shit right here.
Yeah,
Like this, like, oh, this is Captain America. This is cartoony Captain America, maybe.
yeah.
Okay, then, this is kind of exciting. Secret Level is a new animated anthology series from the creatives behind Love, Death, and Robots. It will feature original stories set in the worlds of Armored Core, D&D, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Shifu, Spelunky, The Outer Worlds, Unreal Tournament, Warhammer 40k, and more. Now that's interesting.
Yeah,
And if you have Prime, you can watch the shit. So basically, Death, and Robots for people who don't have Netflix, based on
yeah.
video game characters.
Is it gonna be one cohesive story, or is it or is it multiple like short stories that they're developing?
I think it's just going to be like a series of I think it's going to be a series of just their own thing. You know what I mean? Like a standalone story. It's an anthology series, so they're not connected. It's just like, you know, how Love, Death, and
Okay.
Robots wasn't a continuous story. It was like it had its own thing going on. Like each
I've
story
never
was
heard
its
of
own.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so Love, Death, and Robots was a series that was on Netflix, and it was an anthology series. An anthology is kind of like an anthology set of stories where there's no interconnecting overarching story, but each story has a theme about X, Y, or Z. If it's a sci-fi anthology series, then it's like well, it might be talking about something fucked up like whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that might be appropriately anthology. Um, it's like I mean they don't really do anthologies that much these days on television. Like back in the day, they used to. But that's functionally
Yeah.
what an anthology series is. It's just a series of interconnected stories, or not. It's a series of stories that are essentially like their connecting theme is that they might be in a frame. Like for example, let's say they did a Tales from the Crypt anthology series. So you would have the Crypt Keeper, you would have the preamble with the Crypt Keeper saying, "Well, here's a story about blah 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 blah," and like they did a movie called Tales from the Crypt that was based off the EC Comics series called Tales from the Crypt, and the overarching story was that you had like these 4 or 5 people who were stuck in this mausoleum, and they're like, "Why are we here? I don't know why we're here." And the Crypt Keeper is this old guy reading these stories out of these books about how these people got here, and it turns out that they're in hell. So when they try to escape the mausoleum, the door is open and they fall into a pit of lava.
Oh.
So you know.
Or Black Mirror.
Yeah, yeah. Black Mirror is another anthology series. Yeah, Love, Death, and Robots is an anthology series where the only really combination is that it's typically always set in the future, trying to tell some type of narrative about a deeper meaning, because that's what sci-fi is all about. Sci-fi is a mirror of human technological progression and how our interaction is with technology and ourselves, etc., etc. Um, that was a roundabout way to get to that point.
Okay.
Next, they did Starfield. They showed off the buggy-ass buggy that they have. Yes, I know I used buggy twice, but you get what I'm saying. It's Bethesda. You know it's buggy.
That's all I am.
It looks like shit. I mean, when are they gonna overhaul this fucking engine, bro?
Yeah, they have all the money in the world right now.
Microsoft is in their corner. Just fucking overhaul the engine. Overhaul it so that the physics are better.
Yeah.
Monument Valley 3, it's a puzzle game where it's like some MC Escher shit where you're like moving the puzzle around as you walk through it. And Netflix is publishing this because it's a Netflix games thing, and it's I don't know. I have Netflix. I've never thought to play a game. Next, for most disappointing game of the show, just because it's VR, Batman Arkham Shadow.
You look angry.
I never wanted to play a VR Batman game. And it's on the Oculus Quest, which no one has.
Yeah. Facebook has to be losing money on this stuff.
Oh, they are. It's a loss leader. But basically, you'll be playing as Batman facing off against the Rat King. Don't know who the fuck that is. And it reunites with the familiar faces of Harleen Quinzel, Jim Gordon, Harvey Dent, and Dr. Crane, before some of them become villains in Batman Arkham Shadow. Yeah. What people really want, we want a new Batman Arkham game. Nah, fuck that. We're going to make a new Arkham game, but it's going to be VR. The only good thing is that they probably have someone doing a reasonable facsimile of Kevin Conroy's voice as Batman, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
As a surprise, Peter Molyneux is back, bitches. He's making a new game for consoles called Masters of Albion. Will tap into Molyneux's most beloved games, giving players godlike control and letting them possess characters for a direct third-person action. I'm cautiously optimistic because, you know, even though people like to talk mad shit about Peter Molyneux actually has street cred as making good games that push the industry forward back in the day. Like Fable, Populous, Black and White, Dungeon Keeper. You know, legit good games. So, you know, if, you know, he can get his head out of his own ass, this could be good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is some Black and White shit. Like you can become a hand and pick people up and fling their asses. Oh man, this is some fucked up shit right here. I'm gonna have fun with this. I'm sorry. I have good memories of Black and White. I never beat it. I just like beating the shit out of my godlike monkey helper to get it to act right. I told you don't eat the people. Pia 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 pia. Don't do that shit again. Now let me go put this single man with this single woman and put them in the love shack so they'll fucking make babies. Next, Squid Game. Netflix making a Squid Game mobile game. Meh.
Nah.
Yeah, yeah, we about the same right there. And finally, Diablo 4's first expansion, Vessel of Hatred, goes live on October 8th. Yeah, the characters in Diablo 4 will be joined by members of the Pale Hand, a group of mercenaries that got an introduction from Blizzard Entertainment on Gamescom Online. So, okay.
I guess so. Hopefully it's halfway decent.
I mean, I hope so too. Let's see. We talked about. I guess the final topic is just Journey to the Savage Planet. Developer says Google only wanted to make big games. So let's take a look at this story real quick. Then we'll do free top. We'll do unpopular opinion to wrap it up because we already did our free topic earlier. So basically, the people who made Journey to the Savage Planet, which I have that game, it's actually pretty fun. It's like a Metroidvania. Literally like a Metroidvania where you go through an area, you craft shit that lets you go past areas that were gated off before, and rinse, wash, and repeat in order to move further in the game. Plus, it had some really weird biomes. But basically, it says the cause of the shutdown has been widely of their studio when they were bought by Stadia was attributed to a lack of big name content that prevented Stadia from claiming a meaningful share of the market. But in a new interview with Eurogamer, Raccoon Logic co-founder and creative director Alex Hutchinson put a somewhat finer point to it. Google really didn't know what it was getting itself into. No shit. Raccoon Logic was founded in 2021 by veterans of Journey to the Savage Planet developer Typhoon Studios. Stadia acquired Typhoon Studios in December 2019, but closed it down in February 2021, right as Savage Planet launched on Stadia, ironically leaving no one to fix some pretty nasty bugs in the Stadia version of the game. As you might imagine, the experience did not leave many happy memories. One big issue, according to Hutchinson, is that Google wanted Typhoon to pitch games using major licenses like Marvel and Star Wars. And
yeah,
like Marvel and Star Wars, even though the studio was quite small. Googleaplex apparently reckoned that Typhoon could work on them as is, and then hire more people if the games were a hit. That is the most asinine shit I ever heard before in my life, and I'm not even a game developer. So here's what he says: no one was talking the same language. ... It was difficult. Hutchinson said. We would ask these questions and we would get the confused puppy look. He says Googleaplex also wanted the studio to make games that could only be played on the cloud. It was like saying, here at Netflix, we only make TV shows that couldn't be on any other form of TV. And you're like, I don't know what that is. They were very strict. The timing of the studio closure was particularly brutal. It came not only on the day Journey to the Savage Planet launched on Stadia, but also at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, which meant Typhoon's developers couldn't even get together to commiserate. It was pretty dark, Hutchinson said. The most callous redundancies in games are the day you ship, but that happening in the pandemic was really not fun. In the end, Hutchinson said the only positive takeaway from the experience was money. But it also sounds like it helped inspire Raccoon Logic's take on its upcoming Savage Planet sequel, Revenge of the Savage Planet. The original game was sometimes on-the-nose satire of capitalism and corporatocracy. And it sounds like the new game will build on that approach even further, with some familiar notes. Kindred Aerospace, the mid-tier corporation players worked for in the Journey to the Savage Planet, has been acquired by a large multinational called Alta Interglobal in the new game, and it sent you into deep space on a new mission. But soon after sending you, Alta Interglobal realizes that space exploration is difficult and expensive. So they decide to abandon all of that, Hutchinson said. So by the time you arrive on the planet, you've been made redundant. They fire you mid-trip. Okay, I gotta get this game. The idea that is hilarious. I'm sorry. That is a very interesting premise. You know what I mean?
Looking fire, so you can get fired mid-trip, huh?
Yeah. Look, that's some shit that happens for real here in the real world. I read this
Yeah.
thing where this lady upped and moved to another state. She was on the East Coast. She moved to the West Coast for a job they said that she had. And when she got there, they told her that the position was no longer available. And this woman had spent all this money to go to California. Packed up her house, packed up all her shit, didn't have a place to live, was staying in a hotel. I'm like, God damn.
That sucks.
I'll tell you something, man. Capital, like, here's the thing. Like, when I hear people say, America, we're the best country ever, we're not. Wanna know why? Because in America, corporations have too much fucking power. Okay?
Yeah, that is a problem. Like, the problem with conservatives is they like to talk about welfare queens, but they don't like to talk about corporate welfare queens.
Well, I mean, no corporate. Just take the corporate out. If you're accepting a payout from the federal government and you didn't earn that, you don't need that payout. You are a welfare queen. And look, I would rather have some poor person who needs the money, or even if they don't ultra need it, get like $2,000 or $3,000 a month from the federal government than the fucking millions and billions these corporations get. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's a drop in the. Because here's the thing: even if someone who's poor or gaming the system is middle class is using subsidies, that money's going to go back into the economy. Those fucking corporations take that money and put it back in their pockets.
Yeah. Put it in overseas banks.
It's not getting pumped back into our own economy. Like if you're a poor person and you're on welfare, let's say you're on food nutritional assistance. That money is going to the grocery store, which is being pumped back into the economy.
Yeah.
Because the people working at the grocery store got to get paid. The people who distribute the food got to get paid. That's money flowing back in the economy. The corporation does not have to put that money back into the economy, and they don't. So fuck them. Anyway, enough about that. Any unpopular opinions you want to get at before we wrap things up?
The Switch 2 ain't coming out this year. As many people want to believe.
Not this calendar year, but it'll probably come out next year, probably at the end of Nintendo's fiscal year, so they go into the fiscal year strong. Like, you know how Nintendo like to do? Drop that shit in like April or May.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. I don't know. But that's my own personal opinion. I could, like I said, I could be wrong. I probably am, but I just have a feeling that a lot of you're gonna see towards the end of this year a lot of games that they were like, oh, this is coming out in 2024. This is coming out in 2024. They're probably gonna push that back into next year and have it be a dual release on both systems, the Switch and its successor.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. You know, who knows? This is just me just you know, this is just a supposition. I could be wrong. All right. And I've been known to be wrong.
Yeah.
Or I could be right. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, hold out on buying anything for a little bit for the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Or if you're like me, just wait until it comes out on PC, then you can get the shit later on, which is what I've been doing. And I'm like, oh man, I don't have to get this shit? Great. I'm not getting that shit on the Switch. I'm gonna wait until it hits PC. Some people don't get mad about that. Oh, don't say that. I'm like, come on, man. Let's use some sense here. Some sense. I know that's difficult for some people because they don't want to. They get mad if you say that shit. Oh, don't say that. It's like, come on, man. Let's use some sense here. Anyway, that's it. My unpopular opinion, I already said earlier, because, you know, I'm one of those people. Let's see, what else? That's it. Anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up, sir?
No.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner and proprietor of BS Busters. Thank you for joining us for another cast. We're going to get back onto a normal schedule of me doing this cast on Wednesdays. I just was, yes, last week I was busy trying to make some money with my new side hustle because I'm in the process of unwinding my business and selling it to somebody else while also trying to get a job someplace else. So, switching careers is a bitch.
Oh, I have a. Well, it's actually a channel I'm partnered with, but put my music on. I don't really put it on SoundCloud. It reaches a better audience on YouTube, or at least I got more traction on YouTube. So, channel's called Project Open Mic. Um, and I put my music on there. Uh, so
Okay.
if you guys want to check it out, that's where it's at.
All right. That's good. This is Mr. Red Fox. Glad to have you on this cast. We're going to try and get back into our normal swing of things. That's going to be fun. Player games, etc., etc. Peace and good night.